Why Lucki isn't mainstream? Feel me? Why Lucki ain't mainstream? Yeah, one of his, two of his songs blow up, right? Yeah, why not blow up on TikTok? I did see that. He's starting to get more popular than before. Not gonna lie.
Lucki, who's a really great
And
artist,
it's
hasn't gone
didn't
mainstream
Super
yet. It
US
doesn't
blow
really
up?
make sense as he consistently
I
comes
don't know,
so
but
close to
why
reaching the
not did
mainstream
blow up? I
title, but he
did see that on
doesn't.
TikTok.
Why isn't Lucki mainstream yet? Consistently comes so close to breaching
Lucky flawless like me on page
the
okay,
mainstream title, but he doesn't. Why isn't Lucki mainstream yet? Lucki had always been told that he was a good storyteller and a good writer from when he was a kid. He hadn't really thought much of it.
Dead ass. Like compared to his music from back then, yo, that nigga was on some lyrical shit for me. And he did say that he did look up to Chance the Rapper and all that, all them niggas. He was on that lyrical shit, back then. And he still is. Don't get it wrong. Like that nigga still could.
Of it, but in
But
late
like,
2012, early 2013, after dropping out of high school in his freshman year at 16
Lucky
years
X,
old, Lucki started his career under the
lyrical,
stage name
that
97
lyrical.
and soon changed his name to
Oh
Lucki X, with
shit.
that being a combination of his first name and then the drug Xanax. Xanax is gonna pop up a lot in this
Okay.
video, I'm just letting you know that right now.
Nah,
In
he did use
2012,
some pop
Lucki
pills.
officially dropped
Oh,
his
deep.
first single called Master Plan, and the song was an early capture of his talent and his lyricism.
I know this nigga that be making wild bucks. His pockets antlers on your waist, sure he be making wild bucks. She fucking right, she set him up. We gon' be making wild bucks. We Ric Flair without the ref, we gon' be gone on us.
He continued his grind in January of 2013 when he dropped his first music video as an early collaborator with the Elevator channel. He continued to work with Elevator as one of his friends had got him plugged
9
in was
years
the
ago,
creator of it.
damn.
He kept grinding on the
What about
music
the
videos
lyrical
and singles,
lemonade
which
shit?
was leading up to his first official tape, which was called Alternative Trap. Lucki dropped this almost 10 years ago at age 17 and it still holds up to this day. Soon after, he dropped his second project, which went from the perspective of a drug dealer that was selling Xanax to a drug dealer that started taking Xanax. Now, like I said before, Xanax is gonna pop up a lot in this video, so just get prepared for it. That same year, Lucki was claimed by Glow Gang, which was Chief Keef's affiliation and his label at the time. Now, Keef, like I said before, Xanax is gonna pop up a lot in this video, so just get prepared for it. That same year, Lucki was claimed by Glow Gang, which
New game member club. Is he still
was Chief Keef's
in Glow Gang?
affiliation and his label at the time. Now, Keef has always been a big influence of Lucki, and he
I
shouts
didn't know
out
they met
Lucki
up.
in some of his interviews, and his Days Before 3 cover also replicates Keef's Almighty Soul cover. Now, this was Lucki's first chance to go semi-mainstream as an affiliation with one of the faces, if not the face of Chicago music at the time. This should have been an amazing chance for Lucki to get.
So we got Dirk, obviously. We got Chief Keef. Why the fuck is FBG Duck here? What the fuck?
Now, Lucki did get notoriety from this, but it really didn't do much for him other than locally, as he got talks about him from blogs, but he didn't really go much past this. Keef openly admits that around this time, he was hooked on his Xanax, so he didn't do a good job promoting Lucki. Now, this isn't necessarily Lucki's fault, but this was one of the first and many chances that he had of going mainstream.
I'm congregated. Is this the proper way to express my feelings? I think I'm healing the pain inside. I tame you lines. Give me a chair and a whip. Nerd walking down the aisle of bullies, bet I don't trip. I'ma spit a written. Ah! I'm off that local. I'm on that global. I often have dreams of being locked in my mama's Volvo, watching the garage burn down.
Chance the Rapper was also a prominent figure in the Chicago music scene, and Lucki and Chance had worked together on a cypher back in 2010. They both knew each other, and everyone wanted to collab from the two as they basically made the same type of music, which is conscious lyrical rap. Lucki even states Chance is one of the reasons why he started rapping after watching a performance from Chance at a library. Chance had gained notoriety after his classic acid rap and was still a hot independent artist around the time, so it was expected if they did collab it would be good for the both of them. Now again, the song did well locally, but not well nationally, meaning it did well in Chicago. Now, one possible reason for this might have been because people were expecting it to be a Chance type beat, and they weren't expecting it to be a psychedelic Lucki type beat. Around the time when Stevie Wonder dropped, Lucki still had a style that was on par with Chance's, as they both had a conscious rap type of style, most prominent in alternative trap. Now, Chance continued to climb up the artist totem pole, and eventually in 2016, he had his breakout hit No Problems, but Lucki stayed at the same level he was relatively. Chance the Rapper should have been another route for Lucki to go mainstream, but again it faltered.
Being around Cardi taught me how to rap over trap beats. Remember, I used to make music like Chance the Rapper and them kind of like in that lane. Being around Cardi taught me how to rap over like up-tempo beats without talking about like selling like bricks or killing people. You know, like taught me how to finesse over it.
It was Cardi of all people. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. Also,
Lucki and Cardi both work with producer Filthy and working on dots.
he just kind of showed you some other beats, or like, you know, like how that
Lucki had started his career off as a conscious rapper, but the X and Freeway VP started to see him drift more toward the trap style. The fans who began to listen to his music observed that his style became more of a drug-dominated chill flow compared to his lyrical one in the past. In his interview with Kids Take Over, he states that he linked up with Cardi, who taught him how to rap on trap beats, and Lucki took his own approach to this. He replaced killing and drills with drugs and women. Now, this new take on his music may have pushed him back a little further, as the chance he may have had with his conscious rap was not completely gone, but he did have to start a little fresh. Now, he didn't completely abandon the sound, as on the Freeway tape, it was still present, but it was outshined by the actual Freeway songs. Now, Freeway was a compilation of freestyles that Lucki was dropping as singles, which did really well and was a monumental event for him as he started to become more known for his trap sound. Now, the Freeway EP 1 may have had elements of his old style. Freeway 2 was a complete abandonment of it. It was a complete abandonment of the Chance the Rapper inspired sound with a transition to trap and plug beats. Lucki also began to dabble more in the pills and sipping, which became more prominent in his music. Watch My Back saw an introduction into a more prominent era of women, Mexicans, and drugs.
Women, Mexicans, and drugs, huh? What the Mexicans got to do with this? Oh wait, yeah, I remember. I do remember.
Now, like I said earlier, Lucki is an addict.
Nigga,
He paints the lifestyle of being an addict better than
Mexican
anyone in the rap game right now. He even paints it better than the Cap God Future. Lucki's music gives you a euphoric sense of addiction, and his music oddly gives you a sense of nodding with a sense of comfort at the same time. In his No Jumper interview, he states that in 2017, he was in the hospital and almost passed away due to Xanax. In that same No Jumper interview, he stated that he would take 3 to 6 Xanny bars a day, and that is a lot. The addiction was also messing with his music career, as he also stopped messing with some artists, and his first manager stopped messing with him due to the drugs. He had to take an 8-month break in 2016 due to addiction and mental health, which saw a break in not only recording music, but also dropping it. A stall like this in music for sure stalled his growth. It didn't stun it, it stalled it. There's also been times where he refused to do shows where a drink would be hard to receive. A prime example.
So nobody got walk here. Can't drink this red ass lean. Somebody help. Like,
example of this is 5 months ago when Lucki complained about the lean they had in London. Now, London is ass, so I would complain too, but this is a prime example of the struggles that he's had. He was thankfully able to kick the Xan addiction, even with the plus of not having to battle withdrawals, and he's working on better himself for his son. But drugs no doubt had an effect on his career. Lucki has always had an interesting fan base. At first, they were appreciative of his music, but his fan base has grown to kids making fun of his lean addiction and his lean gut. Now, part of this is due to Bruce's fan base, which is also known as DEO. Base. At first, they were appreciative of his music, but his fan base has grown to kids making fun. But drugs no doubt had an effect on his career.
I'm zoning out.
Lucki has always had an interesting fan base. At first, they were appreciative of his music, but his fan base has grown to kids making fun of his lean addiction and his lean gut. Now, part of this is due to Bruce's fan base, which is also known as DEO. They didn't necessarily ruin his fan base, and I'm not one of those niggas who are going to be like DEO ruined his fan base, but there are for sure people who don't want to get into his music due to the actions or reputation that his fan base has. For example, the nigga who grabbed his quote-unquote lean gut. Now, I guarantee you, one of them niggas was a Bruce fan. People are gonna attempt to argue that he's mainstream, but I disagree. I think he's on a literal bridge and is about to make it. I mean,
that nigga that grabs his fucking belly.
Ain't no fucking way that nigga on Flawless Like Me was more than Kid Cudi's, and Kid Cudi is a mainstream artist. Now, this video wasn't to hate on Lucki at all, as when I was researching for this video, I discovered more of his music that I liked, and I love his music right. But at the end of the day, I still believe that he's not mainstream yet, and he has a little bit more to go.
She said
okay.
Soldier mine. Ain't no hoe that gon' waste my time. Ain't no hoe that can play with my mind. She want a chance and get in the line. Go through your phone and what do I find? You messed up, we impress and rewind. Dreaming about you and I think it's a sign. I seen it with my eyes. You gon' run down, get close.
Ooh, bro, I've heard that, bro. I've heard his voice before. Who is that? Is that Summers? You think that's Summers? I think that's Summers.
Phone and what do I find? You messed up, we impress and rewind. Dreaming about you and I think it's a sign.
Bro, I have no clue what that shit is. I ain't gonna lie. Like, who is that? I ain't gonna lie. That shit do sound good though. That song, bro. Who? Summers, Can. I don't listen to Can. I don't listen to Summers. So like, I've heard them before, but I haven't listened to a full song, other than like some unreleased shit Summers had. But I haven't listened to a full song of either. I'm gonna say Summers though, cause I haven't listened to anything Can't made.